The 1991 Mercury Topaz represents an era in the automotive world when practicality and affordability were prioritized, yet manufacturers still strived to offer a unique identity to their cars. Produced by the now-defunct Mercury division of the Ford Motor Company, the Topaz shared much of its DNA with the Ford Tempo but tried to set itself apart with distinctive styling cues and a more upscale appeal. Despite its relatively modest reputation, the 1991 Topaz had some qualities that made it a notable vehicle of its time, especially for budget-conscious buyers looking for reliability in a small to mid-size sedan or coupe. In 1991, the Mercury Topaz was in its final model year before the redesign that followed in 1992. That makes this particular version significant, as it represents the culmination of the design and engineering that Mercury had refined since the model's debut in the mid-1980s. The Topaz was available in several trims and configurations, including both two-door coupe and four-door sedan body styles. Under the hood, buyers had a choice between a 2.3-liter inline-4 engine producing around 96 horsepower and a more powerful 3.0-liter Vulcan V6, which made 130 horsepower. These figures may not sound impressive by today's standards, but at the time, they were competitive in the compact segment, especially considering the car's lightweight design. The Topaz offered both manual and automatic transmissions, catering to different driving preferences. The manual transmission made the car feel more connected and nimble, which appealed to drivers who enjoyed a more engaged experience, while the automatic provided convenience for city driving and daily commutes. Front-wheel drive was standard, giving the Topaz decent handling and stability in adverse weather conditions, an important feature for customers in colder climates. The design of the 1991 Topaz wasn't revolutionary, but it was functional. The boxy styling, smooth lines, and minimalistic approach reflected the conservative tastes of the era. One unique element was the semi-flush headlamps and a modestly styled grille, giving it a slight edge over the Ford Tempo in terms of visual appeal. The overall shape of the car contributed to good outward visibility and relatively spacious interior dimensions for its class. Inside the cabin, the Topaz prioritized comfort and simplicity. The materials were typical for early 90s sedans: hard plastics, cloth seats, and analog controls, but they were well assembled and durable. The dashboard layout was straightforward, with easy-to-read gauges and ergonomically placed buttons. While it lacked the advanced infotainment and digital displays of modern cars, the Topaz made up for it with ease of use and intuitive controls. Standard features included a basic AM/FM radio, manual windows, and door locks, though higher trim levels offered power accessories, upgraded sound systems, and even optional air conditioning, still a luxury for some models in this price range during the early 90s. One of the key strengths of the Mercury Topaz was its reliability. The car was built with a simple powertrain, parts were widely available due to its shared platform with the Ford Tempo, and maintenance costs were low. This made it a practical choice for first-time car buyers, students, and families looking for a dependable second vehicle. Mechanics often praised the Topaz for being relatively easy to work on, which added to its appeal among DIYers. In terms of ride quality, the 1991 Topaz delivered a soft and comfortable experience, thanks to its suspension setup which was tuned more for comfort than sporty driving. Road imperfections were absorbed well, making it a suitable vehicle for long drives or daily commuting. However, the car did tend to exhibit some body roll in tight corners, and the steering, while light, lacked feedback. It wasn't a driver's car in the spirited sense, but it handled everyday tasks with quiet confidence. Safety in the early 90s was evolving, and the Topaz kept pace with the times. While it didn't have modern features like airbags in every model or traction control, it did come with front seatbelts, optional anti-lock brakes, and a reinforced body structure designed to protect occupants in the event of a crash. Some models included a driver's side airbag, which was becoming more common at the time. Fuel efficiency was another strong point of the Topaz. The four-cylinder version delivered good mileage, with some drivers reporting upwards of 25 to 30 miles per gallon, depending on driving habits and maintenance. The V6 variant offered more power but at the cost of slightly reduced fuel economy, though it still managed to stay competitive within its class. This balance between performance and efficiency contributed to the car's practical charm. By the time 1991 rolled around, the automotive landscape was beginning to shift. Japanese manufacturers were gaining strong ground in the US market with vehicles that boasted superior reliability, better fit and finish, and more modern designs. Cars like the Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, and Nissan Sentra were becoming household names and slowly overshadowing American offerings in the compact and midsize segments. The Topaz, while dependable and affordable, struggled to compete with these newer and more refined imports. Still, the 1991 Mercury Topaz held its own in the market, largely due to aggressive pricing and dealer incentives. It appealed to buyers who were loyal to domestic brands and those who appreciated the simplicity and accessibility it offered. Fleet sales, including government and rental services, also played a role in the model's continued presence on the road during that period. Today, the Mercury Topaz exists more as a memory than a presence. Very few are still seen on the roads, and even fewer are preserved in good condition. However, among certain automotive enthusiasts and collectors, there's a soft spot for these unassuming cars. They represent a different time in automotive history, when vehicles were designed to be tools first, transportation solutions that did their job without much fuss or glamour. Some car enthusiasts even consider the 1991 Topaz a nostalgic piece of Americana. It's a car that may not win any races or turn many heads, but it evokes memories of simpler times, high school parking lots, first cars, road trips on a budget, and the confidence of a car that would just start and go. For those who grew up around it or owned one, the Topaz often inspires a surprising amount of sentimental value. In the collector world, the Topaz hasn't yet achieved classic status, but clean examples with low mileage are becoming increasingly rare. It may not command high prices at auctions or headline car shows, but it garners respect for surviving decades in a world that often overlooks vehicles of its kind. Some preservationists argue that cars like the Topaz deserve recognition not for their performance or luxury, but for their role in shaping the automotive experience for millions of drivers across North America. Ultimately, the 1991 Mercury Topaz is a humble car with a straightforward purpose. It was built to be practical, efficient, and reliable. It wasn't flashy, fast, or groundbreaking, but it never tried to be. It served its purpose with quiet dignity, and for that, it deserves a nod of respect. As we look back on the vehicles that defined the late 20th century, the Topaz holds a spot not for innovation or luxury, but for its genuine character as a car that simply got the job done. And sometimes, that's all a car needs to be remembered fondly.